Hello leaders, this is NavIQ here, and if you've been following the previous two videos, so this is part 3 in terms of my experiences as a principal going through an inspection in Dubai. Now in this part there are 4 messages that I want to actually deliver or share with you in terms of my experience. The first message itself is actually linked to just after the inspection when you receive the final feedback. It's really important that you capture as much as possible. So normally you have to consider who will go into this final feedback meeting. Yourself, you perhaps won't be able to write everything down because you're listening and trying to see what's been said on a high level. For example, the feedback is given in depth for around 40-45 minutes, and you've got to capture as much as possible. So it's useful to go in there being a little bit more organized, so having colleagues with some kind of documentation, whatever way you capture it, to minute as much as possible so you've got that as accurately as possible. Second point to that is the judgments are given. Now you might have around 85-86 judgments given within 15-20 minutes, and it's really important that you capture those as accurately as possible. Yes, those will be emailed to you, and actually they were emailed within a day, but it's also important to get some of the other judgments which are not sent to you. For example, judgments regarding national agenda or innovation, etc., reading across the curriculum, etc. Try to capture this as much as possible. Why? So that you are able to, whenever you feel appropriate, start the school improvement and unpack this and see what that will look like in your school. That's my first message. The second message is, as soon as your feedback is done, for example, it depends, I've had it done late afternoon around 3 o'clock, and in this particular case it was early morning, if you will, around 10 o'clock, 10:30. So it depends when it's done. It's useful to call your entire staffing body after school on the same day, just to have that conversation with them. You cannot say too much because of course it's tentative, but you are able to give some information to them, and it's important, and they deserve it, to be quite honest. They need to know too. It will help your staff, it will help the morale if it comes from you as a principal, and get that information out there as opposed to second-hand information. The third message, in terms of post-inspection, it's important, and this is something we did yesterday, it's important on an evening perhaps to, and every school is different and every school does different things, it's important to go somewhere and have a social with your staff, whoever is able, just to be able to enjoy and celebrate the effort that's been put in, the hard work, and the fact that we've come together as a community. That's important to do. So even if you're tired, or even if you want to go home or whatever else, it's really important that you do come together and you do meet socially after the event. And that's just one piece of advice. And then the fourth piece of advice, which links to today is Friday post inspection, just coming back from Friday prayers, and it is really important after inspection to unwind, to relax, just celebrate it. It is so easy, because you've been working constantly, to feel as though you need to email, which I've done a little bit of. I have to be guilty of that, or contact, or get straight into it. Don't do that. Take a day off. Apparently I'm supposed to have phone-free Fridays. That has not happened so far, but I will turn my phone off after this video. But try to take time off to yourself, and you can always recover and start the work in a few days, but just have a little bit of a lull and then build on that. I think that's important for you, it's important for your staff, it's important for your leadership team, it's important for your community. So do get that out there. More to come in the next 2 or 3 days, just to say, okay, how do we unpack this and what happens post inspection? I will share that with you. Thank you. Hi guys, it's Tuesday today. My apologies, I didn't leave anything before, and perhaps there's a reason for that. And just to discuss in terms of post-inspection action plan and what happens for that. So the first thing is, after this rush or adrenaline, what you will find is a drop, whether you call it the post-inspection blues or whatever else. So there'll be many staff members who will be broken, who will be tired, who will be exhausted, some will be sick, and that will happen. So you've got to manage and lead in those particular circumstances. The second point, and I think this is important, is to see your staff members, to see your colleagues, and give the information that you can give. As a principal, there's only so much you will be able to say, so be very sensitive to that. Really think about what you would like to say, what message you would like to present, and articulate that in such a way that you are within the safe side. That's the second point. And then additionally, it's so important when everyone is working so hard and exhausted that you don't take your brigade, if you will, and march again. There's nothing worse than we come from an inspection and I say, right, okay, now, so don't be intense. I appreciate intensity, but what I ask you to do is to be consistent. Consistency is far better than intensity. So allow a few days for everyone to, recover from this difficult challenge. It is every year, and then build upon it. That does not mean as a principal you don't do that as well. It's important you do recover. For myself, it took me a couple of days just to get my energy levels back, get back into my routine, and that's another key message here. Try to maintain a routine, and it is difficult when you're preparing for an inspection and during an inspection, but the sooner you can revert back to your daily routine, a healthy daily routine, is so important. And that is something, even in survival programs, you'll see that routine is key to progression. Now, what happens in terms of post-inspection? Well, one of the aspects that you will need to do is to write your post-inspection action plan. We are on a Tuesday. Like I said, I was busy. You do whatever you need to do for the order of the day. Otherwise, however, I've already started that process of writing the post-inspection action plan, speaking to various members, colleagues, leaders, staff members, stakeholders, to get them involved in writing that. So within the next week, I would have my first draft done, consult colleagues again, ensure it's accurate. By within 2 weeks, make sure that is in place. That is how I work. Some people may take longer. You do have longer to do it, by the way, and then that is submitted to KHDA for the key recommendations. So it's important you get that started and you involve multiple stakeholders. Additionally, it's important to overlay your key recommendations with your school's budget, because these perhaps may be something within your budget or maybe something that's not within the budget. This depends on your budgeting cycle. If it is within the cycle, that your new budgets, you can put it in, and if it's not, then you can put it in unbudgeted and give your justifications for that. So the CEO aspect of your role is important here, and don't do a knee-jerk, we need this, therefore we need to invest this. Really sit down, think about it, do not be reactive, calm head, and I keep saying this, be strategic and plan it out. How do the key recommendations from the inspection fall into your wider strategic objectives of 2 or 3 or 4 years that you have? Don't, and this is just personal to me, in my opinion, go year to year. Your school improvement is not based and dictated by what inspectors or inspections say. It should just fall into what you plan to do to realize your vision. So that's my last message from this particular part. There's nothing more in terms of post-inspection other than the write-up, making sure it aligns to your vision, making sure it aligns to your strategic pillars, ensuring that the financing supports it, and if it doesn't, to build that into it and do it over a longer period. And the sooner you start, the better. That's my main message. Thank you for listening to this post-inspection. Please do like this video, subscribe to my channel. I look forward to leaving more messages and sharing my experiences as a principal. Thank you.